the triple C. I'ma make him bend the knee. Rolling with the triple C. Don't really got the heat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Fight Feedback. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C. And on today's episode of Fight Feedback, I'm going to be breaking down, that's right, the next coming of GSP. Or is he the next coming of GSP? That's right. I'm talking about Michael Malott. Now, I tell you what, guys, this guy has a composure that I haven't seen a UFC fighter for a very, very long time. I've had a chance to work with him in Canada. I've had a chance to see this guy on how good that he could still actually be. I'm gonna tell you guys one thing. At 170 pounds, if you guys don't have your guys' eyes on Mike Malott, you guys could be next, and you guys could be in trouble. But this episode wouldn't be possible without our sponsor. That's right, Jimmy Bars. That's right, the gluten-free bar that is out in stores nationwide. So you guys make sure to go to a local Walmart and get your Jimmy on. Enough talk. Let's take it to the big screen. Okay, so here we have it, guys. That's right, Mike Malott versus Szymon Mastricki. You know, this was Mike's first contender show. Yep, and then right away, if you guys notice, like through his error, overextending on his punch, he was literally able to turn it into a guillotine. Beautiful. I love the way he took. Look, you know what I'm saying? Like he literally capitalized on his error. Watch, he's here. Boom. Overthrows, but you're like, you know what? Boom. Oh, I like that. Eventually get the guillotine. What I'm really impressed with Mike Malott is how sure he is when he does grab the neck. When he does go head and arm or just head, like he knows that somebody's gonna go to sleep. Like he knows his gift in there. Does a really good job of bringing that foot over. He uses his whole body to be able to submit people. Overthrows his punch. Oop, thank you for the guillotine. Thank you for the guillotine. And now he's in it, and now he's just looking. But I love this. I love what he did with this leg right here. This leg is the one that did it. Using his whole body. So now here we have it against Mickey Gall. And at this time, Mickey Gall, I mean, Mike Malott, he was making his debut against Mickey Gall, which is a pretty tough fight, man, considering that, you know, they're both kind of younger, whatnot, kind of similar in records, but this guy had a little more experience in the UFC. Let's hit the play button. Yeah, and if you notice in this fight, his coaches kept telling him, you know, throw over the shoulder, throw over the shoulder. If you watch this fight live, boom, he's throwing that jab. He's kind of setting things up, kind of goes for the kick or whatever. Nothing crazy, but right here is where he catches him over the shoulder. Bah! To eventually catch that overhand, to eventually that left hook. Yeah, gets taken down, but he's doing the right thing of getting up. He's not playing the jiu-jitsu game. So Mike Malott is doing a good job, even though he did get taken down, to pretty much bring it back to his feet. But then here, this is where the bear hug. You know, he's starting to look for the bear hug in that position. But remember what I was telling you guys? Like, he's already looking. Remember the first time he had that, he was going over the shoulder. Now watch this second time around, boom, to eventually catch him. It was a plan that his cornerman already had, and he already caught him in round one, but now he does it again. And this time he lays him out. Anticipate as he throws, waiting, bah, right there. Left hook comes down. I mean, Mickey Gall is, Mickey Gall's asleep, man, unfortunately. And I like Mickey too. But man, when you get, like, I think of Mike Malott, and I think of just super technical with power. Bah. Boom, left hook, over the top. But like I said before, in round one, he had already caught him in it. Yeah, so here we have it, Mike Malott versus Adam Fugit. You know, pretty much around the same thing. He's got a reach advantage on Matt Malott, a little older. But other than that, this is Mike Malott's third fight in the UFC. Let's hit the play button. Yeah, but again, look, like, you can just see him get better. And then beautiful bear hug. You know, he was trying to do this with Mickey Gall too. But then finally defends, knows how to use the cage, locks his hand, but then look at the leg, Guys, it's the upper body with the leg that he's able to pitch his opponents to be able to get a good side control for where he's really, really good. Bah. Now notice, throws the leg kick. Now fakes it, throws the left to eventually, throws the right and to eventually get the left. Yep, and then again, the head and arm. This is where he's comfortable here, man. You give this dude, he's like an Ortega. Yeah, he throws his kick, he feels it, and then watch. Look at this setup. Now he lifts the leg to eventually, boom, bring the hands in to be able to drop this dude. And then eventually, again, yep, going for the front cover that he knows best. Yeah, but he's committing. Notice how he always uses his legs too. I mean, he's always bringing this leg. He's putting that weight in there to eventually get the submission win. Bah, bah. See what I'm saying? It was the lifting of that knee to eventually, which brought him in to actually bring his hands in to eventually hurt him. I mean, you're talking about a kid, you're talking about a rising star here with a guy like Michael Malott. And now I would like to give Mike Malott the 3 keys in order for him to become the best in the world at 170 pounds. That's right, young grasshopper. I got my eyes on you. And the number one thing for a guy like Mike Malott is take your time. Take your time, but what I mean by this is take your time and fight a lot. Take your time, fight a lot. If that makes any sense to you guys. Don't take the big names. Like, from watching your first fight from the contenders to fighting your last fight, the way you're able to, submit your opponent and be able to get that setup, that beautiful leg kick to eventually turn into, hitting those arms. I'm sorry, hitting the head and be able to drop him. There's a lot, man. There's a lot that you're still growing, Mike. Like, you're literally still growing. I would say take your time, but fight a lot. If I'm in your position, I'm looking to fight anywhere between three to 4 times a year. Don't be thinking of the championship just yet. And then the other thing is, the number 2 key for me, for a guy like Mike Malott, is, and then what you do is you take the right fights. You take the toughest fights. You take the toughest fights, but you take the right fights. Mike Malott is good technically. Mike Malott is good tactically. As soon as you just kind of start getting into that top 10 and to eventually get into that top 5, like, you have to really pick that poison. Because the last thing you want to do is fight a dude like Colby Covington, where that's all they do. They just grapple and wrestle. Like, right now, let's hold off on that a little bit. But that time will come, So take your time, fight a lot, take the right fights, and continue to keep, and one of the biggest strengths that I have that I don't want you to lose is continue to keep developing your composure, and particularly your feints and fakes, your setups. I spend a lot of time. This is given. I feel like right now in the UFC, the composure piece for a guy like Mike Malott is people need to take notes from. His fakes and fakes, his setups. It's not about the combination, Mike. It's all about the entry. If you're able to set something up really good, you're gonna be able to finish everybody. It's almost like the same time that when you miss that punch and you turn it into that whole guillotine. Little things like that. Start becoming a lot wittier like that on your feet. So in order for a guy like Mike Malott to become the best in the world at 170 pounds, this young buck, the young grasshopper, the things that I have for him is he needs to take his time, fight a lot. He needs to fight a lot because he needs to get better. Like, there's still little things like competition that he still needs to kind of get out. But I want to say he only has 12 or 13 fights. And then after that, he needs to take the right fights. He's already good technically and tactically. Typically, I like to give technical or tactical advice. He already gets that part. And then the third, and not but not least, the composure, fakes, and feints. He already has composure. Now the fakes and the feints. Kitty, start setting things up a little bit more. Like, that's where you become a smarter fighter. It's not about the combinations. It's about the entries. If your entries are right, if you're able to skies whatever it is that you're doing, Mike, you know, the sky's the limit. And you're there, man. I'm a big fan. I had a chance to work with you a little bit when I went out to Toronto, and I just see a lot of goodness in him. Like, he's very fundamentally very sound. And when you get a fighter who's fundamentally very sound and he's driven, ooh, with ability, with a little bit of malice, with the philosophy of finishing people, this is the stuff that makes Mike Malott, you know, the potential future champ at 170 pounds. I mean, a lot of people a lot of people see a lot of GSP in him, and I can see it too. But I personally think if he's able to get everything on track and get everything together, that he's gonna be in the future, this could be a man at 170 pounds. So again, guys, a big shout out to our sponsor. That's right, Jimmy Bars. This episode couldn't be possible without the one and only Jimmy Bars, the gluten-free bar that is out in stores nationwide. Guys, I use it to cut weight all the damn time, ascending to 135 pounds. Calvin Castellum too, ascending to 170 pounds. He's using Jimmy Bars. So you guys make sure to go to your local Walmart near you and get your Jimmy on. Thanks again, guys. Till next time, you just watched an episode of Fight Feedback. I'm your host, Henry Cejudo, aka Triple C, and we are